Good day, welcome to our video lesson, Guidance and Counseling, a Profession and Discipline by Dr. Catherine S. Pagulay. Guidance and Counseling as per the Republic Act 9258, Section 3, Letter A, it is a profession involving an integrated approach to the development of well-functioning individuals, primarily by helping them to utilize their potentials to the fullest and plan their present and future in accordance with their abilities, interests, and needs. Guidance and counseling is to help individuals reach their fullest potentials. A guidance counselor, as per the Republic Act 11036, Section 4, letter M, a mental health professional is also a career specialist, and it is the central and the most indispensable figure of the guidance program. It is a natural person who has been registered and issued a valid certificate of registration and a valid professional identification card by the Professional Regulatory Board of Guidance and Counseling and the Professional Regulatory Commission. In accordance with this act, and by the virtue of a specialized training, performs for a fee, salary, or other forms of compensation. The functions of guidance and counseling under Section 3, letter A of this Act, Republic Act 9258, Section 3, letter B. As per the Republic Act 9258, Section 12, it is need examination. Examination is required for a guidance counselor or for a registered guidance counselor. All applicants for registration for the practice of guidance and counseling shall be required to undergo a licensure examination to be given by the board and commission in such places and dates as the commission may designate in accordance with the Republic Act number 8981, subject to compliance with the requirements prescribed by the commission. What are the qualifications for examination? In order to qualify for the examination, an applicant must, at the time of filing the application, should be a citizen of the Republic of the Philippines or a foreigner whose country has reciprocity with the Philippines in the practice of guidance and counseling. Letter B, has not been convicted of any offense involving moral turpitude by a competent court, and holder of a bachelor's degree in guidance and counseling or in other allied disciplines and a master's degree in guidance and counseling from an institution in the Philippines or abroad recognized or accredited by the CHEC. What are the scope of examination for registered guidance counselor? It covers the areas of philosophical, psychological, and sociological foundations of guidance and program development. It is 10%, while 35% of counseling theories, tools, and techniques, 15% of psychological testing, 10% of career guidance, 10% of organization and administration of guidance services, and 20% of group process. The board examination is the board subject to approval by the commission. It may revise or exclude any of the subjects in their syllabi and add new ones as the need arises. What is a guidance program? A guidance program is a system of services designed to improve the adjustment of each and every person for whom it is organized. It refers to the integral part of the educational system because it is responsive to the needs of the students and is entrusted only to qualified guidance personnel. What is Career Guidance Program? It is a system of services designed to help an individual come up with a career plan to help achieve his or her life goals and implement the plan. There is a career guidance advocacy program under the guidance and counseling, and it is a system of activities designed to guide learners at the secondary level in choosing the career track they intend to pursue in senior high school and tertiary level. It may be implemented by the non-registered guidance counselors, RGCs, pursuant to Republic Act 10533, and with respect to Republic Act 9258. Mental health program is a system of services designed to maintain the state of well-being of the individuals in order for them to realize their potentials and abilities and be able to cope adequately with the normal stresses of life. Shows resilience when undergoing extreme life events, be able to work fruitfully and productively, hence able to make vital contributions to the improvement of the society. Counseling, according to Villior 2009, is the heart of the guidance program. It is integrated there all the data gathered about the individual and his or her environment in order for those data to make sense. It is a goal oriented relationship between a professionally trained, competent counselor and an individual seeking help for the purpose of bringing about a meaningful awareness and understanding of the self and the environment, as well as making full use of one's potentials for self development. Counseling supervision. Supervision is a process in which experienced professionals holding appropriate preparation, degree, licensure, and certification provides consistent support, instruction, and feedback to an inexperienced counselor, fostering his or her psychological, professional, and skill development while evaluating his or her delivery of ethical services. We have what we call counselor educators. Those are counselors who are responsible for developing, implementing, and supervising educational programs and are skilled as teachers and practitioners. They are knowledgeable regarding the ethical, legal, and regulatory aspects of the profession, and they are skilled in applying that knowledge and make students and supervisors aware of their responsibilities. Counselor educators conduct counselor education and training programs in an ethical manner and serve as role models for professional behavior. Counselor educators are individuals who develop, implement, or conduct and supervise comprehensive education and training programs for counseling trainees in a knowledgeable, skillful, and ethical manner and serve as culturally aware role models for professional behavior. Counselor educators are considered professionals at the degree level of Doctor of Education or Doctor of Philosophy in Counseling or Psychology or closely related field level of education who infuse material related to human diversity into all courses or workshops that are designed to promote the development of professional counselors. Psychotherapy, according to www.apa.org or the Association of Psychological or American Psychological Associations, it involves communication between patients and therapists that is intended to help people it find relief from emotional distress as in becoming less anxious, fearful, or depressed, seek solutions to problems in their lives, such as dealing with disappointment, grief, family issues, and job or career dissatisfaction. Modify ways of thinking and acting that are preventing them from working productively and enjoying personal relationships. Counseling generally refers to short-term consultation, while psychotherapy typically refers to long-term treatment. Counseling typically deals with present issues that are easily resolved on the conscious level of awareness, whereas psychotherapy intensively and extensively examines a person's psychological history. There are several basic principles in guidance. The guidance program is an integral part of the educational system, guided by the following principles. Guidance is a fundamental and integral part of the educational system. It provides for the holistic development of the students. Education and guidance support and complement each other to maximize a student's growth and development. Another basic principles is administrative and faculty understanding and support of the guidance program are crucial to its success. The guidance personnel perform a specific task, distinct and separate from teaching and disciplining. The guidance program is responsive to the student's needs. The guidance program addresses the development and adjustment needs of the students. The program considers the unique culture and climate of the specific population and environment it serves. Program offerings are based on regular, systematic assessment of the student's needs and environment. Guidance is a continuous process throughout the person's stay in school. Guidance activities are specifically planned and developed to ensure program effectiveness. The guidance team consists of the school counselors, psychologists, social workers, teachers, administrators, and other educational professionals and staff who work together for the welfare of the students. The guidance program recognizes the need to provide objective evidence of accomplishments and the rationale for its continued existence. The guidance program recognizes the student as an individual and is premised on the following. Every individual has needs that must be attended to. Guidance should be attended to all. It should not be selective. Every individual is unique and possesses worth and dignity. Human beings can develop their own insights. All individuals have the right and capability to make decisions and plans. They just need guidance. The guidance program is in the hands of the qualified personnel. The school counselor is a role model of positive human relations. Professionally trained guidance personnel are indispensable for ensuring competence, leadership, and direction so that they can lead the students as well. There are history and foundations of guidance to be found in this presentation. Like anything, school counseling has also its origin. Years back, it has been existing but gradually and continuously developing through the years, especially in the Philippines. The practice of school counseling before is far different from now because of the many new trends and upgrading in this profession, including the formulation and implementation of the laws covering its practice. A school counseling profession which enables us counselors to be able to look at things, situations, and people in deeper and a wider perspective while being a manager of the guidance, whose work is managerial, supervisory, and clinical in nature. School counseling or guidance and counseling formally started in the 20th century. Some of the techniques and skills of modern day counselors were practiced by Catholic priests in the Middle Ages, inspired by the concept of their dedication to confidentiality as practiced in the sacrament of confession. Formal guidance programs using specialized textbooks did not start until the turn of the 20th century. During the Industrial Revolution, the difficulties of people living in urban slums and the widespread incidence of child labor outraged many. And one of the consequences of such was the compulsory education movement. And shortly thereafter, the vocational guidance movement, which in its early days was concerned with guiding people into the workforce to become productive members of the society. The entry of the United States in World War I brought the need for assessment of large groups of draftees, in large part to select appropriate people for leadership positions. These early psychological assessments performed on large groups of people were quickly identified as being valuable tools to be used in educational system, thus beginning the standardized testing movement that in the early 21st century is still a strong aspect of US public education. At the same time, vocational guidance was spreading throughout the country, so that by 1918, more than 900 high schools had some type of vocational guidance system. In the 1913, the National Vocational Guidance Association was formed and helped legitimize and increase the number of guidance counselors. Early vocational guidance counselors were often teachers appointed to assume the extra duties of the position in addition to their regular teaching responsibilities. But in the 1920s and 1930s, it saw an expansion of counseling roles beyond working only with vocational concerns. Social, personal, and educational aspects of a student's life also needed attention. After the World War II, a strong trend away from testing appeared. One of the main persons indirectly responsible for this shift was the American psychologist Carl Rogers. Many in the counseling field adopted his emphasis on non directive, later called client centered counseling. So we have three kinds of counseling: the directive counseling, the non directive counseling, and the eclectic counseling. And it was founded by Carl Rogers. Rogers published Counseling and Psychotherapy in 1942 and Client Centered Therapy in 1951. These two works defined a new counseling theory in complete contrast to previous theories in psychology and counseling. This new theory minimized counselor advice giving and stress the creation of conditions that left the client more in control of the counseling content. In the 1980s to 1990s, the American School Counseling Association, or the ASCA, launched the national standards for counseling, which comprises of the three core domains such as academic, career, and personal or social. The history of counseling in the Philippines is started in the pre-colonial Philippines was much like neighboring Indonesia and Malaysia. Counseling is still appeared to be vestigious and indigenous help seeking through superstition, reliance on elders, faith healers, and fortune tellers, and belief in the supernatural according to Father Bulatao in 1902. In 1521, the Philippines was rediscovered by Ferdinand Magellan, which began the Spanish colonization, resulting mainly in religious conquest. 80% of Filipinos are Roman Catholic. From 1898 to 1941, the American occupation and military bases into the 1990s followed is Spanish colonization. From public school to government, the United States has had a strong influence on the country. English became the language of instruction in the country, and greater respect is given to anything American over anything Filipino. The United States has even had a significant impact on counseling because Filipino counselors and psychologists often trained there in the United States. The Philippine Guidance and Counseling Association, or the PGCA, is a professional organization for guidance counselors, supervisors, and counselor educators. Conceptualized in 1964 by a group of educators, psychologists, and counselors, some of whom were trained in the United States. From the 1970s to the 1990s, the movement in counseling was primarily indigenization of assessments, constructs, and theories, focusing on the differences between the counseling models learned in the United States within the context of Philippine culture and the realities of its social issues. The most significant development in Philippine counseling is the Guidance and Counseling Act of 2004, Republic Act number 9258. This act was intended to professionalize the practice of guidance and counseling and to create the Professional Regulatory Board of Guidance and Counseling, which is under the administrative control and supervision of the Professional Regulatory Commission. Prior to 2004, mental health workers did not need a license to practice, nor was there a regulatory board to ensure adequate training and ethical practices. But the guidance counselors pioneered regulation for counseling, and psychologists are following suit through the Philippine Psychology Act of 2009, or what we call the Republic Act number 10029, which will regulate psychology and create a professional regulatory board for licensing psychologists.